Hello, disruptors. Liz Carlson here, coming today with some guidelines as you are preparing and finalizing your slide decks. So, this will only take a few minutes. The three key ideas I want to cover first are visuals, how we use them to enhance and not distract. So, this would be a graph, a Venn diagram, a pie chart, a photo, a meme. Second thing we're going to talk about then is how to use text effectively, where it enhances, reiterates, but does not distract. And then third and finally, just positioning what we know about the human eye and how that aligns with the slide deck, where we put it. Okay, let's do this. First key idea is visuals. I just pulled a slide here from one of my workshops, Speak with Purpose, Less is More. Now, I want you to see how simple this is. You all know this band, right? The late, the great Kiss. Well, in my Speak with Purpose workshop, we use that KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid, as the predominating thought as we move through how we speak at work. So you'll see the image, it is enhanced, it is enlarged, but it's also not taking away. It's not competing with anything. Then I want you to note the text. It is a simple, clear font. And I have some nice contrast here where there is no eye strain to read Speak with Purpose. Okay, so visuals, make sure they are large enough for people to see and make sure that they are running parallel to or they're representing the thing you are trying to say. Sometimes we just grab visuals because we're drawn to them, but they're not consistent with the message at that point. In this, for instance, the visual would then become distracting. Okay, so visuals, make sure they are clear, make sure they are large enough, and make sure they pair with what you are speaking on. Second thing I want to talk about is text. Okay, now there is a rule in slide deck creation. It's called the rule of 6. I would say in a disrupt slide deck, it would be the rule of 3. The rule of 6 is this: you should never have more than 6 bullets, and each of those bullets should never have more than 6 words. Now that is in a standard presentation. We are condensing this down to 5 minutes and 15 seconds per slide. So I have taken that rule of 6 and I brought it down to rule of 3. So if I was introducing my concept to the audience, this would be my preview screen. Okay, today we're going to learn how to speak with purpose. I'm going to talk about 3 things. 1, the importance of brevity. 2, the importance of being intentional and concise in your message. And specifically, I'm going to give you strategies how to. And then thirdly, we are going to practice. We are going to practice specific applications where you will actually have something to take to work tomorrow and lean into how to speak with purpose. Okay, so what I just did there is I overlaid the voice with this slide. Now I want you to note that I used far more words than are visible on this slide deck. I expanded on the concept of brevity. I expanded on the concept of intention. I expanded on the concept of practice. But the words I chose were the most representative. So I selected just one word for each of those topics in my preview. This is how your visual pairs with you, the speaker. And let's remember this, folks. You are the main event. You are the message. Do not overthink the visuals because your presence, your delivery, your body movement, your tone, that is what is really sealing, securing, and sending the message, okay? The slide deck is just an enhancement. It should clarify, it should repeat, but only clarify and repeat the things coming out of your mouth. Okay, so text. Less is more. Keep it simple. So we're going to play a little game called What's Wrong with This Slide? Okay, so under the concept of brevity, we see saying the most with the least. Minimum words count for comprehension. sentences with 8 words or less. And then we see the image of a nice open, 2-lane highway. And then we see what looks like to me Hotlanta in all its craziness. This visual is meant to explain that brevity is that easy breezy 2-lane, whether that's the wide open interstate. I was just in Fargo this week. I jumped on 29, hit cruise, and it was easy. Versus landing in Hotlanta, getting your rental car, and then white knuckling through 8 lanes of traffic that is splitting and feeding and sliding and gliding. The concept of this slide is brevity looks like this, and lack of brevity looks like this. This is how we want our message to feel to the listener. So let's look at what's wrong with this. Okay, visually, I got 2 pictures here. I think the pictures are okay, but then I have text next to the picture. So what's happening here with this text is it's competing with what I'm saying, and it's also competing with the words I chose to select. So my first recommendation would be to cut out the text, or if you have a quote by an image, cut that out, okay? If the image represents what you say, that is all you need. Other things to note, I got way too many words on this slide. Saying the most with the least. Minimum word count for comprehension. Sentences 8 words or less. What I would do with this slide number 1 is chop it. Reduce the word count to the bare minimum words that are representative, that just provide at a glance support or repetition to what you're trying to say. Other recommendations for this slide. What is the busy that we can remove? We could get rid of bullets, potentially. If you like bullets, they're absolutely fine. But sometimes we have an overuse of bullets where it's just adding to the busy. Color. Okay, there is a time and place for color, and it can draw attention. But what I have here is too much color, where the eye doesn't know where to start and where to end. Okay, now down here we have a nice little heading that is just pointing to the fact that we're talking about brevity. Let's take this slide and make it an enhancement to our message versus a distraction. Here is take 2. Okay, if I am explaining brevity to my audience, what I have done here is I have separated those pictures, okay? Now I'm going to draw the parallel story that a message with brevity is clear and understood. It's that easy drive to Fargo where you hit cruise control and listen to your audiobook. Speaking without brevity then is white knuckling in 8 lanes of traffic in Hotlanta. There is information coming at you from all sides. There's exit ramps, there's on-ramps, there's lanes that merge, lanes that feed. This is the opposite of the type of message we want to send. So first we clarified the images, okay? We separated them, we removed the text, and now I have a visual with that parallel story I'm trying to illustrate in the mind of the listener. Word count, we hacked this baby up. 2 key concepts, minimum words, maximum comprehension. Brevity is saying the most with the very least. Minimum word count, selecting the right words, the power words that ensure the maximum comprehension. So folks, we went from this, okay, crazy, busy, where do I look? Oh no, she's on to the next subject, to this. In 15 seconds, this can add and enhance your message. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is spacing, okay? Having taught courses on media design, our eye primarily goes to about the 2/3 of the slide to the right, okay? So this space where you see my arrow, this is where the eye tracks. And we like the content to move from left to right, just how we read. So things that I have done to make this easier on the eye. Of course, I've expanded the images to draw that parallel. I've reduced the word count, but now I've created a nice margin here where my text bumps up against the image, but there is a nice line. So the eye can easily travel from the concepts to the photos. Then I did keep that little heading, brevity. It is perfectly okay in your slide if point one is culture, that all of those slides just simply say culture in the lower corner. Maybe the second concept you're talking about is leadership. Again, you can ear tag or mark those slides with just that one word. Okay, so we just talked about visuals, okay? How they enhance our message and not distract. We talked about text. Less is more. Keyword sentences, no, excuse me, not sentences, sentence fragments, keywords only, okay? Remember that crazy slide? We want the redo. And then how we use our images and the position we put them in. Thank you so much, folks, for your time. I know you are all going to be awesome. Go forth and make those slide decks.